Question number 2 on the reading portion of College Board's Test 5. The main purpose of the first paragraph is to. So main purpose. Why does the first paragraph exist? What does it add to the story? What does it bring to the table? Well, if we remember what the first paragraph was about, we're talking about the restaurant. And then we're talking about the history book. And we're describing all the, not about the history per se, that's later on. We're talking about all the notes that people wrote, all the scribbles and all the drawings and the tears, and almost like a history and a description of the book itself. Just like I guess we're talking about this receptacle of the restaurant where memories are formed. Poetic. The main purpose of the first paragraph is to introduce the passage's main character by showing his nightly habits. Okay, maybe we are describing and introducing the main character, which is Limey. However, by describing his nightly habits, do we know that this is at night? We can only assume that. We never talk about that once, I think, that this is nighttime. Or that, and furthermore, is this his habit? Do we know that this is something that he does? Like a habit means you do it habitually, you do it over and over again. So do we know that he does this every day, every Monday, every third Wednesday, you know, once a month? Do we know that? We don't. I don't like this fact that we're, again, this seems to be a theme already that we're picking up on. Again, I believe that you actually can almost, you know how they made the test or who was making the test or how they were tweaking it because they go on a similar idea. You know, there's a little sub-theme in every reading or maybe every reading of every test. And you start realizing they're trying to test one thing over and over again more than other times. You almost can sense who made the test. And I feel like this is true right now. They're really going hard on trying to get us to believe things that just aren't exactly 100% true. And I think this is a case in point, nightly habits. I don't know if it's a nightly habit of his. What about B? The main purpose of the first paragraph is to indicate the date the passage takes place by presenting period details. If anything, it doesn't tell us period details because if we take a look at like Art Moderne, if you know anything about this, this is really from the 30s. And this is not from the 30s. We know this is published in 1945. Just the fact that it's a restaurant doesn't tell us it's 1945. There's nothing about the war. The fact that he's reading a book, this could be in any town, college town in America today, or England, I guess in this case. And no one would know. So I'm not liking B either, the date the passage by presenting what period details? The fact that it's Art Moderne? No. The main purpose of the first paragraph is to C, convey the passage's setting by describing a place and an object. It's kind of what we talked about before. It definitely talks about a place and an object. Because we talk about the place, Alcazar Restaurant. We talk about the description of it. And then finally we talk about an object, the history book. The history book then occupies the rest of this paragraph. So what does this first paragraph do? Yeah, it does convey the setting, the restaurant, by describing a place and an object, the book. I like this a lot. What about D? The main purpose of the first paragraph is to foreshadow an event that is described in detail. We're not foreshadowing anything. It's not like this restaurant serves a pivotal moment in some crazy scene that's about to unfold. It's just a place where people are meeting and where characters interact. So I don't like it's foreshadowing. It's not like, I don't even know, foreshadowing, it's like, you know, again, they suggest something in the beginning and then it comes back at the end to haunt you in a way, or to come back full circle. And we're just describing a scene where this kid is reading a book in a restaurant, a scene with the waitress, a scene with noisy, you know, patrons in the next table, and then talking about his father. There's no foreshadow. We're not foreshadowing anything. We're not bringing something up that's later going to be revisited. The answer to number 2 is going to be C. I like that a lot. Remember, A backs us into a corner with this nightly habits portion. We don't know it's a nightly habit, so it can't be the answer. Indicate the date the passage by presenting period details. We don't know the period details either. Convey the passage's setting by describing a place and an object. I like on how it almost seems like it's not even saying anything. It's not even mentioning much of anything, and yet it says exactly what we need. That the first paragraph primarily talks about the restaurant and the book. Place, object. I like that. And D, foreshadow. We're not foreshadowing anything. That's described in detail furthermore. We're not describing anything in detail as foreshadow. The fact that his father came later, that's not foreshadowing anything. 2, the answer is going to be C.